By the time Doc Holliday stood beside Wyatt Earp, he was already dying. Tuberculosis had eaten through his lungs. Every breath burned deep in his chest. Every cough tasted of iron. But death did not frighten him, not anymore. He was born John Henry Holliday in 1851 in Griffin, Georgia, the son of a Confederate veteran and a devout Christian mother. He was educated, polite, refined. He studied dentistry, earned his degree, and opened a practice of his own. Then came the diagnosis: tuberculosis, the same disease that had taken his mother years before. The doctors told him to go west. The dry air might help slow it down. It did not. Dentistry faded into memory. Cards replaced drills. Whiskey replaced medicine. In saloons from Dodge City to Tombstone, Doc Holliday became something else entirely. A gambler, a gunman, a man who laughed at death because death was already sitting at his table. And then there was Wyatt Earp, cold, measured, unbending. They were opposites, but loyalty bound them. Wyatt once said Doc was the most dangerous man with a pistol he had ever known. October 26, 1881. Tombstone, Arizona. 30 seconds. That was all. The Clantons, the McClorys, the Earps, and beside Wyatt Earp, a dying dentist with a shotgun. He fired, coughed, fired again.
I coughed blood in Tombstone, wiped it on my sleeve. Death had been my shadow since I was 17. Georgia raised a preacher's son with manners fine and clean, but the West don't care for polish when the dust begins to scream. I dealt cards in smoky rooms with a fever in my chest. Every breath a borrowed coin, every dawn a test. Wyatt stood beside me, steel steady in his hand. He said, "Doc, you don't look well." I said, "I never planned 30 seconds in the street, smoking thunder cries. Some men fear tomorrow, I'd already faced mine." I coughed blood in Tombstone, laughed into the sun. You can't outrun your dying, but you can choose how it's done. They laid me down in Colorado, far from the Georgia pine. I looked at my bare feet and said, "Well, this bed ain't how I die." But death don't take suggestions, it comes the way it will. And I never feared the reaper, just the thought of standing still.
History debates the details, but what people remember is the image. A thin man in a black coat, smoke drifting through the air, blood dark against his sleeve. Doc Holliday did not die in a gunfight. He died in a small room, in a bed, in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, far from Georgia, far from Tombstone. When they told him the end was near, he looked down at his bare feet and gave a quiet laugh. "This is funny," he said. "I'll be damned if I ain't dying in bed." He knew how it would end. There was never much doubt about that. But when the time came, he met it the same way he had lived, on his feet, unapologetic and unafraid.